All right. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm here with the legend himself, rugged Ronnie Garvin. And this is not a stories from the road to the ring. This is we're gonna be doing a Royal Rumble review. So how you doing, rugged Ronnie?
I'm doing great. I'm above ground and I'm happy.
Good, 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 good. All right. So today's topic is the Royal Rumble. Um, you too also participated in the Royal Rumble. As a matter of fact, you participated in what they used to call the Big Four, as far as they used to call it the Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam. You participated in all four of these big pay-per-view events. Would you would you care to tell the fans? And by the way, we have a lot of people joining on TikTok live right now. So I'm here with Rugged Ronnie Garvin once again. To all you guys joining in on TikTok, we're discussing the Royal Rumble. So say hi to everybody, Ron, on TikTok.
How y'all doing? Big hi
That
to the fans.
that's it. That's it. So wait, let me raise up the volume here. Sure the volume is on high. Okay, good. So today is the Royal Rumble. Would you care to tell the fans on some of the things that it takes to prepare for a pay-per-view event?
Well, I didn't prepare. It's just it's a wild wrestling matches. You, I don't know. I can't remember how many wrestlers are in the ring, but you're in there and you're on your own. You
Yeah,
know, if I remember right, is the last man standing or something.
yeah.
We used to call that before something else. It was
Battle Royal.
Battle Royal. Yes,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So it's basically, I've been probably in 20, 25 of those
Oh
over,
man.
over my whole career because they used to have them probably once or twice a year. So
Okay.
I've been in a bunch of them, and you can't really prepare because you're on your own. You don't have no, you know, you just do your best. You know.
Right. Right. Ki- Okay. So what what are some of the stuff that you, as far as strategies during the Battle Royal? Because they similar. The Royal Rumble. It's every
Keep
30 men in the
your
ring.
back, keep your back to the ropes
Keep your back towards the ropes.
or the corner or the corner. Let them come at you. 'Cause you get in the middle of the ring, you're going to get Pearl Harbor from behind, or the side, or it's wild. It's pretty exciting. I would imagine as for a
Yeah,
fan.
yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the legends that you participated with in the Battle Royal?
Oh Lord, I can't remember. It, usually there was probably I can't remember 10, 12, 14 of us in there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So pretty much all of them over the years.
Over
You know,
there.
I think I was in one where Andre was in it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I believe that was the Royal Rumble itself, the one that we're going to discuss today. It was Royal Rumble 1990. That's the one that you participated in, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact. But you was involved in the one-on-one match with your good friend Greg the Hammer Valentine. That's
Yeah.
that's the infamous. Oh man. Okay, so all right, so let's start off with the Royal Rumble 1990. The first match that we have on the card, we have the Rougeau brothers versus the Bushwhackers. I know you shared the ring with the Rougeau brothers. You have quite a few extensive history with the Rougeau brothers as a tag team.
Yeah.
I know you spoke about it before, but would you care to revise the fans, especially the ones coming in on TikTok right now, as far as your history, as far as with the Rougeau brothers?
Well, that was I believe 1985.
Okay.
1985. Uh, the way it came about is kind of weird, and
Mhm.
I wanted to go visit my my parents in Montreal because
Right.
I left and I've been gone for years. I left at 62, and I'd go visit about every year or two, and so I wanted to be spending a whole summer with them. So I called the promoter, Dino Bravo. I think everybody knows that name, Dino Bravo.
Yep.
He was a promoter. And so I called him and I said, hey, listen, I'd like to wrestle about once a week or twice a week. That way I can deduct my trip to Canada on my taxes. Because, when you're traveling and you're wrestling, you get a lot of deductions. Your room, your food, you know, and so, okay, he says, I'll talk to my his partner. And in the meantime, Jimmy Garvin is I think he was in Minnesota. He
Mm.
did the same thing. Weird, because I hadn't talked to Jimmy probably in months, maybe a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the same idea to come to Montreal because his wife's mother lives about 300 miles away, and he was going to visit, you know, with her mother and all that, and at the same time pick up some wrestling and matches, and you deduct your trip, and it's like a holiday paid for, so uh, he called Dino, same thing. So anyway, the whole thing, I get a phone call, and they said, we need to meet at the office. If you can come to the office, we've got something we want to talk to you about. I didn't know what they were. Anyway, I went to the office, and there's Jimmy. I said, what are you doing here? So anyway, then I realized, that they want to do a book a match, the Garvin against the Rougeaus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I never really was very popular in Montreal because I never wrestled there except when I first started in these little crowds. I had 400 people here and there. I was just learning. I was 16 years old, but I never was, big time in Canada. And Jimmy had
Mm-hmm.
never been there either.
Mm.
And but I guess it was through the television back in those days. '85, I think it was cable. So I guess
Right.
they had cable there. With people knew me and Jimmy. And so anyway, they booked the match. Well, we uh, we went to Montreal Forum,
Uh-huh.
and it's like Montreal Forum is like a little bit like the Madison Square Garden. It's got a history for years and years and years, and it's probably about the same age as the Garden back in
Right.
those days with the big venues, for hockey and stuff like that. So that's where it's going to be. Well, Jimmy, we brought in Precious. She was going to be the manager.
Okay.
Well, the very first match we went to Canada in Montreal, when the Rougeaus got to the ring, their dad was sitting at ringside because Rougeaus were like Hulk Hogan's in Canada. They were because their uncle and their dad were real big in the '60s and the '50s and big names. So the name Rougeau was everybody knew it.
Right.
Well, it drew a hell of a house, quite a bit of big crowd, and we attacked them. We jumped them when they came in the ring. Precious sprayed her face with some kind of I don't know. Anyway, uh, they were one of them was rolling around in the ring. I think she sprayed something in his eyes, and I was stomping the heck out of the other guy, and I jumped off the top rope a couple, 2, 3 times on him. And the dad comes to help his kids in the ring. And yeah, he
Uh-huh.
was getting older. He had retired probably 15, 20 years. He slid under the bottom rope. Well, I climbed the top rope and I came up on his head, on his neck. And anyway, the match was over. It was like a bomb that went off, and the Rouge was laying all over the ring. And so I think we got disqualified or something like that. Well, there almost was a riot going to the dressing room. We had a hard time going to the dressing room, and
Mhm.
we had to fight our way through. Through that, the fans were cussing at us and throwing shit. Yeah. Anyway, there's a big return later. They were about a month later or 2 months later, whatever it was, and that's when we sold out the forum. It was the biggest crowd ever in a building. Supposedly, it was on the front page of the newspaper. And my mom and dad, they just couldn't believe it. Rougeau brothers and Garvin brothers were a record crowd. Blah 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 blah, and so my mom and dad were impressed. But that was good, and we wrestled them in other cities. Everywhere we went was sold out.
Uh,
Uh, and I never thought it'd be that good. I said people, people's got to know you for a long time. Because we didn't have any record in Montreal. We just because I had left years and years and years ago.
Hmm.
But it was fun. It was fun. It was entertaining. Plus, we made some money. Got to visit. Got to eat a lot of good food. Montreal's got a lot of good food.
There you go. There you go. Would you say the Rougeau brothers were the individuals that you made the most money with
Well, for up there, yeah.
up there?
Canadian money is worthless in the state.
I got
take take $100 bill from Canada. What is that? Ugh. It's only worth about half the price anyway. $100 probably worth 60.
you.
So that's why I never lived in Canada.
Right.
People are great, but in Canada, you got to make about 3 times what you don't go anywhere. Everything is so expensive. The money's not worth it. And they look at $100 bill, they probably would throw it away.
Right. Right.
American money is the best. That's what you want. American money. Well, I just went up there not long ago. Uh, this past summer
Uh-huh.
for one of the Rougeaus, Jacques Rougeau. He had a
Okay.
academy wrestling school. He
Hmm.
wanted me to come up there and be a judge because they
Okay.
had it was a nice event, but I required them to pay me in American money. That was the first thing I told him, and he did. He did.
Just to be on the safe side. Oh man. Okay, so we have on the first card we have the Rougeau brothers versus the Bushwhackers. That's compiled of the team of Luke and Butch. Any stories about them, the Bushwhackers?
Oh
Did
yeah,
you
they were something, man. Yeah, they're great. They're good guys too. I got to know them real well. One of them passed. I can't remember which one. But
Butch?
good guys. Yeah, Butch. Yeah, they were good guys. Got to travel with them some. They flew with me. They flew
Okay.
with me. Yeah,
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
they were
So
flying a few times.
okay, so Butch ends up getting the pinfall for the team of the Bushwhackers. They pin Raymond Rougeau. Um, Now as far as moving on to the second match, we have Brutus Beefcake versus the Genius. Believe it was a haircut match. Um, what are your thoughts about? I know you worked for the the Pafos back in the days, as far as. But did you ever have any one-on-one matches with the Genius with Leaping Lanny himself?
Uh, I know we did an attack one time.
Mhm.
We
Uh,
did an attack. That's when we had a fight. You
mhm,
know,
mhm.
myself and Tiger Conway against him,
Mhm.
Leaping Lanny and what's his brother's name? Randy Savage.
Right,
That was about the only time if I wrestled him. That's about the only time. I never wrestled one on one.
right. Okay, okay. Um, and any stories about Beefcake, Brutus the Barb Beefcake?
No, no, really. Well, I didn't like his gimmick anyway.
The
Uh,
greatest wrestler of all times.
yeah, well, yeah. Well, I didn't. I never associated with him. He was kind of a guy that was. I don't know. I don't know if he ever talked to me on a. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I probably was with him in the dressing room now and there. But no, don't have anything about him that I know
That you remember.
except for that that beefcake barb or whatever.
Oh man.
What is
Okay.
Dana Barber got to do with wrestling? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I know. I know. But okay, so the match ends up that Beefcake puts Leaping Lanny in the sleeper hole, puts him to sleep, and you know what happens right after? He gets
Yeah.
him in he gets him in a position and cuts his hair. And I believe that was the last pay-per-view of the Genius, I believe of Leaping Lanny. He'd done a couple of programs after that, but as far as major pay-per-view, that was his last one.
Yeah.
Then we have the infamous Rugged Ronnie Garvin versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. I
Yeah.
tell you, the chops that you guys delivered to each other, you could have heard it from the nosebleed section.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what oh yeah, we went at it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like him. I like the guy because I knew his dad. His dad was a tough guy. I remember I wrestled his dad one time. Of course, I was much younger. I was probably 22, 23 years old, and he was probably 35, 40, 38, something like that. And big guy, tall, and in good shape. And I'll tell you
Mhm.
what, when he hit you, you knew you got hit. You know.
Ay,
And he was
ay,
out.
ay.
I wrestled him that time. I hit him 2 or 3 times, and he'd go, "That's the hardest you can hit." And I'd hit him again, and he'd laugh. Lord, yeah, I think it was a masochist. He
Yeah,
liked pain, I guess. 'Cause, man, that's the hardest you can hit. Yeah,
ay,
that's
ay,
kind of
ay.
embarrassing.
It was one of those you knew you was in it for a long night.
Oh, I'll tell you, when he bent you over the ropes, man, and he came down with that arm and he hit you in the
Right.
chest, boy, you didn't breathe for a second. I mean, probably half a minute to a minute.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, plus it left a big mark. You came out of the ring when you wrestled his dad. Even him. I mean, we just beat the dog shit out of each other.
Ay, ay,
He
ay.
was a little. The only difference is he was not as tall as his dad. He was a hell of
Okay.
a worker. He is a hell of a worker. You know.
Have you ran across him? What was the most recent time you ran across him?
I think it was last year, signing autographs.
Okay.
Sign autographs, fan fests,
Yes.
those things
Yes.
they have. Yeah, I ran into him quite a few times. We always sit down, talk, and laugh, and tell old stories.
I could imagine.
Yeah,
I could
yeah. I
imagine.
remember one was before the when I wrestled him in that. I was driving. He needed a ride. Something happened. His car broke down or something, and I was upstate New York, and so he was riding with me. I had a rental car. That was the only time he rode with me. Uh, and it was snowing. It was slick. Road was slick, and from Canada, in the snow, depending how deep it is, I usually
Mm,
drive. I can go 50, 60. If there's no traffic, if there's a lot of traffic, hey, well, I drive a pretty good driver.
mhm.
But him and I are talking, and I was going a little too fast. Well, when I realized that it was a little too late, and there was no way I was going to make that turn, and there was guardrails, and there was a space in between. They were apart. Guardrails here, then there was no guardrail, then there was guardrail. And somehow I managed to get the car, and we went off into the field. Woof, over a big ditch, over a ditch,
Oh my
down
God.
into the field was going down. It was nice. I mean, but it was snow, and no, probably not much snow. We're sliding down, man. As soon as I slowed down enough, man, I cranked the steering wheel. I hit the gas. We spun around, and I hit the gas again, and we came up, and we're right back on the road. We got back on the road. He looked at me and he says, "Did you do this on purpose?" He said to me, he said, "You done it so easy." I said, "No, I said, the good Lord was driving, man. The good Lord was
There you
driving.
go.
I wasn't. The miracle.
Oh
Well,
man.
it didn't hurt the car or nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, just perfect spot to go right through, and we came right back out of there in the same.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we yeah we was probably 100 feet in the field, 100,
Wow.
200 feet.
Wow. Wow.
And if we would have stopped, we would have got stuck. Then you
Oh
get
man.
stuck in that snow.
Oh boy. Okay. So so you end up putting, well, first he put the figure four leg lock on you, and you had the something called the hammer jammer, which you had your own shin guard that you reversed it.
Yeah,
And when he ended up
yeah.
putting the figure four leg lock on him, he thought that he was putting pain on you, and you was selling it as if you was in pain, but then you got up and then you looked to the left, you was like, look at this guy. And you looked to your right, like, look at him. And then you said,
You should have seen his face. He went, yeah. I think I got a picture of that. Somebody took a picture of that.
okay.
There is a picture, you
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
that
I
was
think a wrestling fan give it to me.
uh
It was it was taken by a fan. Yeah.
okay. Definitely a classic moment. Um, so you end up putting him in, well, I've known it from back in the days of NWA from Sting. It was called the Scorpion. I believe it was called the Scorpion Deathlock. What was the name of that move that you had him? It was a form of a leg lock.
Figure four.
It was a figure four. No, that you end up beating him with. You
Oh, that was hang on a second. It's they got a name for it. You grab the legs, you roll them over, and he's on his
Yep.
back, and you back.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I know
God.
Bret Hart called it the sharpshooter. Um, but I know there was a name before that.
Yeah,
Wait
there's an
for it.
old. It's yeah. I remember years and years ago. I used to use that a lot. It's a submission hold because you're bent upside down on your back, and the more you
Mhm.
pull on the leg, the more it hurts his back.
Right,
But
right,
it's
right.
Boston crab. Boston
Boston
crab.
crab. Yeah, Boston
Yep.
crab. So, yeah. So you end up beating him with the Boston crab.
Yeah.
He end up submitting.
Well,
Um,
it was a submission hold. There was no other way to get a win unless you submit. It was a submission hold. It was pins didn't count.
that's right. As far as
Yeah.
in the road, okay, for that match,
Yeah.
right, 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 right,
Yeah.
right, right. Okay. So now, we end up after that match, we end up having a special, the Brother Love show. I don't know if you remember Brother Love. He was Tom Pritchard. He was his real name was Tom Pritchard. Became an agent in the back and worked with. He still works for WWE, as a matter of fact. Um, and he had a show. He dressed up like a preacher, and he was like, "I love you." That was his whole gimmick. Um, his special guest was Sensational Sherry. Did you have any? Did you ever, as far as like not wrestle Sherry, obviously, but did you ever was on the same shared the same card with Sherry back in the days in
Well,
any promotion?
I would have let her beat me.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So
Uh,
it was Sensational Sherry and Sapphire. Those were his special guests. Sensational Sherry represented your best friend, the Macho Man, and
uh,
Sapphire represented your other best friend, Dusty Rhodes. so so they go back and forth at it for a little bit, and then
yeah.
Sherry ends up slapping Sapphire. Macho Man ends up coming to the ring, try to save Sapphire. Then he tries to put his hands on Sapphire. Then Dusty Rhodes comes in there. Then they
Yeah.
commence to start fighting. Then they end up throwing Brother Love out the ring. And then they start dancing as far as Dusty Rhodes and Sapphire in yellow polka dots.
Yeah. Yellow polka dot.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think that
Vince,
was Vince.
Vince, Vince was a genius. When you put polka dots on him, I said, man, because let me tell you, Dusty Rhodes was the American dream for years, years and years and years. And the polka dots later on in his career,
Yep, yep. I knew that was
oh, Lord,
a
I
stick it
said he
move.
got even. Vince got even somehow. Little embarrassing, but money talks. He had to do it, or probably not get any polka dots.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Oh man. Then the next match we had the Big Boss Man versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Any stories about the Big Boss Man or Hacksaw Jim Duggan?
Axel, he flew with me quite a few times. I traveled with him.
Hmm.
I was partners with him in 4x4.
Yeah, for
It
the
was about
Survivor.
4x4.
Hmm.
There was four of us. I can't
Yep,
remember.
Survivor
Uh,
Series.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Duggan. I always liked Duggan. He's a good guy.
um, then you have the Big Boss Man hits Duggan with a billy club, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan ends up winning by disqualification.
Uh huh.
So that's how that match went. And then now you have the Royal Rumble itself, where
Hmm.
it's every match, every minute, every 2 minutes, a new guy steps inside the ring. Now this was the build up. This Royal Rumble was the build up to between the Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. Um, it came to a point where Warrior threw out quite a few men out the ring. Hogan threw out quite a few men out the ring. And the last two men for that period of time, there was more men coming in, but there was a part of the Royal Rumble that it was just those two that were staring at each other. And that was a
Yeah.
memorable event that they slowly turned around. And back then, I'm telling you, the storytelling, like sometimes you didn't have to say a word. It was just a certain movement and stuff like that. And it told the story right there and then. And you had the
Yeah.
fans right in the palm of your hand. So I remember even as a little kid watching that, and I was like, "Oh man!" So they end up slowly turning, and then I believe they went at it crisscross and stuff like that. They hit each other, and then they laid flat on the ground, and then that's when the 2 minute bell came in, and then another wrestler came right inside as far as to start to continue the Royal Rumble itself, and then it actually ended up with Hogan and Mr. Perfect was the last two men inside the ring, and Hogan ends up throwing Mr. Perfect over the rope, and Hogan wins the Battle Royal, which now leads to which sets up for WrestleMania 6, I believe, which was called the Ultimate Challenge between Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. So I know you've shared your stories about the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, another one. But and Hogan too. But let me ask you something. Do you think at that time, as far as when Hogan, I don't know, but you wasn't around that time, but Hogan ended up losing to the Ultimate Warrior as far as giving up the belt. Do you think that was good business on behalf of Vince McMahon that Hogan should have actually kept the belt, or do you think it was that time that it was time for the changing of the guard?
Uh, I don't know why they done that. I don't think they should have. You
Hmm.
know, the guy never did anything in the ring but run around and hit the ropes and run around. I mean, he was like, you know, he didn't know one wrestling hole.
Right.
I never saw him take a wrestling hole on a man in the ring. If he wasn't slinging his arms and, Jesus. I'm surprised none of the boys took him down and embarrassed him, you know, because it's pretty easy. Yeah. Pick
Well,
them off their feet, on their back. Yeah, you can do that to almost anybody.
Well, I think Vince probably had a thing like, that was his moneymaker. Vince seen something in him because he was built. Vince had a thing
Well,
for,
he booked him with certain guys that he knew wasn't going to make him look bad, I guess, or embarrass him. I don't think he was good.
right,
You know, I mean, he had a hell of a body. And that was it.
right, right, right,
And
right.
he didn't give a shit about the other wrestlers. He hurt a lot of guys.
Yeah.
You hear the story about Andre, him and Andre?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
with the fist.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. It
Yeah,
gave him a black
yeah,
eye.
yeah.
He told him, he,
You learn real quick.
oh yeah, ran across the rope, and then he clotheslined him, and he ran 100 miles an hour. Andre
Yeah.
was like, told him slow down. Did it again.
Oh,
Boom.
yeah, yeah.
Slow down.
When Andre growls, yeah. The next one was a surprise.
Oh yeah.
he didn't care about people's bodies. He was reckless, dangerous. Uh, you know, he was impressive. I give him credit. He was impressive. You know, but he didn't live long either.
Mm,
You
mm,
know,
mm.
put all
Yeah,
that crap in your body just to look like that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
I mean, what are you gonna do?
I mean, he's never done anything to me, and but I was not impressed with anything he did.
Right,
You know.
right. Yeah,
And that was not material for championship. You know, it was not. He was not material championship. You know, because he didn't know anything about wrestling.
right.
He just
Well,
bodybuilder. He got in the ring, man, and he just crisscross, man. The ring would shake, you know, and he'd get in the corners, get the
well,
ropes, you know. Gee, anybody can do that. Maybe
well.
not
You
as
know the
violent,
thing is,
but
I guess, I guess they considered him like a cartoon character for the kids, like a superhero character for the kids because the way he looked
well,
and the way he presented himself. So,
that could that could be.
yeah, that's oh
Well,
man.
that's why I always said when I went to New York, I didn't belong in that kind of environment. You know, it was totally different than what I was used to.
Mm,
You know, well, I mean, that's their business. It's their business. They run it the way they want. You know,
mm,
but to me, that's not my environment. Jim Crockett promotion, NWA, and all that. You know, you
mm.
didn't see all that stuff like that. You saw wrestling. You know,
Right.
so, but well, he named it entertainment, so I guess he could do that. You know, they got to rename entertainment. You know, WWF entertainment, whatever it is.
Right. Right. That was yeah, yeah. So
Every promoter has a right to run their business the way they want to. You know, and there were successful advice, yeah, but it's not something I didn't want to do stuff like that. You know, I always said when I was up there, I says I can't sing, I can't dance, and I can't rock and roll.
yeah,
I can't do any of that.
but you was more involved in the business of professional wrestling. That was your thing, as far as pro wrestling.
It's,
That's
it's the way I was brought up. You know.
that's the way you was brought. Yep, yep.
Well, in the old days, that's the way it was. It was nobody done what, especially today. It's even I wouldn't be in wrestling today. I guarantee that diving through the ropes and doing all diving off the top. What the world? That's not fighting. Hell, you're gonna hurt yourself worse than the other guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Uh,
You know.
And, and it's funny. I spoken to Dan Severn. He's a former Triple Crown UFC champion, and he's participated with the WWE and the UFC. Do you know that Dan Severn told me that the most injuries that he's received, you would think it was in the cage as far as in UFC. He was like, no, it was with wrestling. And
Yeah.
and I and I believe that with what you're saying, with all the crazy stunts and stuff like that, you would think it would be in UFC in the cage, but no, it was in
Yeah.
professional wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
I never, I never really thought of that, but yeah, UFC. Well, you know, it's real shit.
Yep.
You know, I mean, why would you dive off the rope on a guy that's on the floor on the concrete? I'm going. I just shake my head when I see that.
Yeah, that's yeah. I think okay, all right, so let me ask you something. Do you think a high spot, a spot like that, as far as doing a flip or jumping on top of somebody off the top rope, would be good if you told the story that you really took away the person's legs, like you was working on both of their legs for like 30 minutes of the match that they could not even get up. Like you told the story like that in the ring. Like if something like that happened, now would you say it would be more believable to jump off the top rope and that person stays on the ground because they can't move because you worked on
Well,
their legs.
if you jump off the top rope and stayed in the ring, you know, I can see that, you know, because you got a ring that's it's not concrete.
Mm-hmm.
It gives, you can kill yourself on that concrete, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and but you should show wrestling. You should have grab a hole and wrestle. Wrestling, wrestling
Mm-hmm.
is about holes and counter holes and you name it. I mean, just and I think people enjoy that more. And you can punch now and then. In the old days, they did a lot of forearms.
Mm-hmm.
Give you a forearm on side of the
Right.
head.
Right.
Like but you can't change. Wrestling has changed 100%
Right. Yep.
from what it was. I don't watch it because I don't. First of all, my main reason is I don't know anybody anymore that's wrestling today.
Mm-hmm.
The old days, you knew a lot of guys because we did a lot of traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Today they fly wherever they go. They're flying, and I don't think they get to know each other too much. Some of them do, I guess, but sitting in a car for 8, 10, 5, 6, 7 hours, you know, 5, 6 days a week, you got to know some guys who are almost like brothers. And but usually you travel with the guys you like. I
Right.
did, I did. So the same thing when I was flying. You know, I didn't hate them. I just didn't want to be around. I didn't take them. I tell them I got somebody else
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
there was plenty of guys wanting to fly. I tell you. As soon as they got their bookings for the week or the first thing they know, they'd be calling me. Hey, you got a seat for me? Yeah, they were spoiled. Airplane will spoil you.
Oh man. I, hey, I hope they chipped in for the gas mileage as far as for the plane. It wasn't cheap.
Oh well, it was a little more maybe than driving, but
Right.
not that much. And you save hours. Instead of 4 hours on the road, you were there in an hour, hour and a half. You know, and you didn't leave at noon. You left at 3:30 in the afternoon. You know,
Wow.
a lot of guys like that.
Wow.
See, when you wrestle, I remember when I wrestled for WWF, uh, they give you. We were gone 12 days
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
without coming home, and you'd have a stack of tickets, airline tickets, for cash because I was doing my own flying. But
Mm-hmm.
there was a rule, and you got all the flights departed all in the morning. Early, the first flights out in the morning. Well, the guys didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to Chicago. They say, there's probably 4, 5, 6 different flight there. And so a lot of them would try to get another flight. Well, the bad weather would come in or something. Anyway, they wound up missing going to Chicago because they changed the ticket. You had a $5,000 fine, you know, if you didn't show up. Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
straightened them out a little bit.
That was a hefty fine.
Well, yeah, well, because a lot of guys kept getting late, didn't show up because they changed their
Mhm.
flight. So finally, they passed that rule, and it stopped it. You know,
Wow.
so I was guys would fly with me because I'd leave at 10, 11 o'clock, and we didn't
Uh-huh.
change flight. We went direct to Chicago or whatever.
Wow.
Private flying is a whole lot more enjoyable than flying commercial.
Then
You know,
flying. Got you.
yeah,
Got
because
you.
you're around people you know, all these people. You're next to them, and you get to bring food on board, and stuff like that. And makes your trip enjoyable.
Well, question. I'm surprised the Macho Man didn't fly with you. It would have saved them a lot of
uh, no, he didn't like me too good.
money.
I could tell after I whoop him.
Wait, listen. The price that he would save for travel fee, I'm sure he would swallow that pride. He was like, I'll like him for the flight. I'll like him for the oh
Uh,
man.
he, he he was a funny guy. I never
Yeah,
understood him. Yeah, but we're all different. So
yeah.
I didn't hate him. I just kind of feel sorry. I think it
Yep.
was the way he was raised. his dad called the mice, and I just he would repeat every day, better rich and dead than poor and alive. Does that make sense?
Nope.
Better rich and dead than poor and alive. And me and Bob Ward, we were around. We were in the same office. Because I owned 20% of the promotion back in those
Mhm.
days.
Mhm.
And so I heard that all the time, and I just shake my head. I said, "This is it's just the only one in the family that I really liked. I liked him. He was funny, and he was a go-lucky guy. Happy-go-lucky. Just didn't bother him about anything. And was Lanny,
The
Leaping
leaping
Lanny.
lamb.
But
Okay.
the rest of the family, yeah, Macho Man was, I called him the turkey because he was always, and if you did something good for him, like even open the door, hold the door. What are you doing that for?
He
It's
was
like
paranoid.
paranoid, paranoid.
Oh
You
man.
know, just weird. He was a hell of a worker. I give him
Right.
credit. I mean, he was a good athlete. But he went through a bunch of girlfriends. And I guess he he tossed them around a little bit. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I know there was one for sure when we were in Lexington.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, but he made his bed. That's the way I look at life. Make your bed. If it's not comfortable, and yeah, I don't know if he was on steroids or not, but he
Mhm.
worked out. He worked out a lot. I wrestled him quite a bit in Lexington, Kentucky, Tennessee, places like.
Mhm.
Yeah, I give him credit. He started playing. I think he started in the sports. So he was playing. He was playing baseball.
Right.
If I remember right. Him telling me about it. But his brother Lanny was total opposite. Randy was more like his dad. His
Right.
dad got a little bit crazy about money. That was his god. Money, money was his god. And I told you why I split up from that company. I owned 20% of it. He screwed all the guys up on money.
He
Yeah, the
received.
Samoans, and I can't remember all the names, but yeah, I was part. I saw that. I said, I'm not going to participate in this. I don't want no
Right.
part of this company. You can't do that to wrestlers. You know, we had drawn a hell of a crowd, in Lexington, Rupp Arena, and they were all excited. Oh man, we're gonna do good here. We're gonna first thing, man, money crazy. You got to pay them. The reason there's a big crowd is because they participated. It's not just one guy drawing the money; it's a whole card. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm in a main event. I sold out." No, you help, but you're
Right.
not alone.
Right.
You
It's true.
can't say you did it on your own. If there was only one match, you think the crowd like that would be here? They come because it's an event. It's like a concert. If you got more than one singer, you got three or whatever. It's just
Question. What's the I want to know the infamous story about you wrestling the Invisible Man and how did that happen?
well, I that was in Nord. If I remember right, I did it twice. It was in North Bay, Ontario. North Bay, Ontario. Zaboski and we used to wrestle there in the summer, only summer, 1st of May till the last of August, because you couldn't rent any facilities, any arena. They were
Mm,
hockey arenas, and they were taken in the summer. I mean, in the winter for
mm,
hockey. Companies would have teams of players, you know, like they do for bowling. They rent, so they were not accessible. So we wrestled there only in the summer. Well, the promoter, he I can't remember exactly how it started. He canceled the show. Anyway, I got in the ring and I said, Larry, and Larry was like a 55-year-old wrestler that was a promoter, and he was
Right.
a Polish guy, real nice guy, but he he was very serious about the business. So he gets in the ring and he he's going to referee the match. So there's no other guy at the other end of the ring. I said, Larry, come here. I bring him to the middle of the ring and I said, check my shoes, check me. He said, what are you talking about? I said, now you tell him not to hurt me. And he's the referee and he owns this company. He says, are you crazy? You lost your mind? I says, yeah. I says, I'm going to wrestle this son of a bitch over there. So I get to the middle of the ring, man, and I lock up with an invisible man. And I'm struggling in the middle of the ring. Finally, I get pushed to the ring. I raise my hand like I'm going to break. Boom, I get hit. Son of a, I tell him not to hit me. I'm on the ground. And he's standing there. He didn't know what to do. This went on for like 10 minutes. He's got my arm. Oh man, he's got my arm. And then all of a sudden I got thrown in the ropes, Oh, jeez. I've done that for probably 20 minutes, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a small crowd. Well, hold on. I know what it was. Uh, there was something happened with the crowd there.
Uh,
I forgot why, but he said, I'm going to go tell the people to cancel the show. And when he went to cancel the show, that's when I decided I'm going to have a match in the ring with the Invisible Man, and and the people kind of laughed. They caught on. It took a while, before they caught on what I was doing. That I was
uh,
wrestling an Invisible Man. I was doing motions, and stuff like that. I was missing, I was fighting, and nobody around. I was kicking.
and he still
Yeah.
had to pay you.
Oh well, yeah. Well, I own. We own 50% of that promotion.
Right.
Yeah, me and my partner Terry, we had 25% each. Well, he was getting old and he had a hard time promoting. He was about living 150 miles away from North Bay, so
Mhm.
anyway, it worked out good for us. And he'd come and referee sometimes, and of course, there was on paper. There was just handshake and that was it. We left later on, a year later. But by the end of the season, we left and we went back the next year. We did that for 5 years. Same
Wow.
deal. We had 25% of, but we were running it.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
everything was in his name, and it was 50% between me and my partner. That was when all the expenses were paid, and that was the revenue. He got the other 50%.
Hmm.
That was a
Hmm.
good deal for him. He was still running his farm, and then coming to his office.
Hmm. 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 Oh wow. Oh man, that was some. Do you know that gimmick was actually repeated a couple of years later? They've done that gimmick quite a few times. You was the first one to wrestle the Invisible Man, right?
Yeah. Oh well, that I know of.
Yeah, that you.
I
Yeah,
just
that
came
gimmick.
up with it. I just came up with it just when he went to cancel the show. Yeah, I said I'm going to enjoy myself. I don't know, maybe I killed the town. I exposed the business. I killed the town. You know, I mean, Canada was like 15 people. 20, maybe 25. I don't know. It was not many people, but I did it for his benefit too because he shook his head, but he says he, he couldn't believe what was happening. He said, Where's the guy? He's right here. He's going to get me. I was the only one that could see the Invisible Man.
The Invisible Man. Oh man. Uh,
Nobody else could see him.
there you go. There you go. There you go. All
I've done
right.
a lot of crazy. Uh, the old days.
Yeah, I know.
Who was the person that did the other one, the Invisible Man?
There was somebody from GCW. It was a promotion from GCW. They've done it. It drew. Yeah, the fans got into it. It was a
Yeah.
packed house.
Another match was blindfolded. You ever seen that?
My first one seen was Rick Martel versus Jake the Snake Roberts in a blindfold match. That was my first one ever.
Yeah. Oh, I was in probably at least 8 or 10 of them. Oh, it's awesome. You know, yeah. What you do is you just feel. You're in the ring. People stand up, man, and scream. No, no, you're going towards. What I would do is I would start swinging towards the guy. You know what I mean? Like you're standing there and I'm coming at you. I'm swimming, swinging, and then when I get close to you, you just walk away, and I'm swinging, keep swinging, and I go by. And then I
Right.
stop, and then I realize. So if you're a baby face, I was baby face when I did that. I would use the people. This is what I would do. I point this way. No, 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 no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then I start swinging. I'd be heading that direction, swinging, and then they go, no, no, no. Then the guy would walk around, away from me. I'd start pointing again. Yeah, no, 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 until I lined up with him. Yeah, then I'd take and I'd be swinging, man, and come so close to hit him, but just go right by him, just miss him.
Oh man, unbelievable.
uh, I mean, we'd have the people standing and being on the apron of the ring and just talking, no, no, trying to help you. The fans
What
want to
was
help you.
what was the most fun gimmick match that you ever participated on? Would have been a
Probably the blindfolded.
blindfold.
Blindfold fun. Yeah, it was fun because you didn't do anything.
Right,
You know,
right, right.
blindfold. There was I don't know. There was all kinds. What was good? I love was a strap match.
Strap match. Okay,
I had
okay.
strap match with Jake the Snake, and I mean we had whelps on their body, man, for
Out.
weeks. The belt will wrap around, and it's things like hell, but a big mark for a whole week. Oh, we'd whip each other. Wanted to get down on the mat, man, and just
Yeah.
yeah. If you ever talk to Jake, ask him. He
About
used to
strap match.
tell people. He says he's got goosebumps. He likes it. About me, he thought I liked it. Says I see goosebumps on him.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, hey, we mentioned yesterday that you have a couple of things lined up for yourself coming up real soon. I want to be respectful of your time. I know you got to go somewhere at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm going to Tampa. It's called luncheon. There'll be some wrestlers there. It's
Hmm.
O'Brien's Pub,
Hmm.
Dale Mabry in Tampa. And yeah, there'll be probably 25, 30, 40 of them. You know, guys that I don't know who's all going to be there, but I know there's going to be quite a few. A lot of guys live around Florida here.
Right,
They go to it, and they have that once a year. It's called a luncheon.
right.
Have lunch and then talk
You're
all
probably
tell
you,
stories and everything, and it's a good time.
how much
And
you want to bet?
they let some of the fans in.
I think you're probably going to end up watching the Royal Rumble tonight. I think they're setting that up because it's the Royal Rumble. So they have you guys come in, speak to the fans, enjoy yourself, and then probably going to be hanging around later on tonight for the actual Royal Rumble itself. So you're going to get to see the new generation of talents.
Where's the Royal Rumble on
It's
TV?
yeah, it's going to be on pay-per-view. It's well, not pay-per-view. It's on Peacock, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. See, this is in a pub, the bar.
Right.
I don't know if they'd be watching. Well, it's only going to be this afternoon from 12:30 to about 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
I'm coming back home.
Okay.
It's about 100 miles from where I'm at here. About a
Mhm.
100-mile drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just going down to see some of the boys. Sometimes you can't recognize them. If you didn't see them for 30, 40 years, there's some guys change. You know? Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I like it. You get to meet some guys and talk about the old days, and you got something in common with them. They're from the same era, the same time.
right.
They're not from whatever it is today. You know, I would watch it if I knew some of those guys, but it's a different generation. You know.
Well, you still look recognizable. So
Well, that's what they tell me when they meet me. They say, "Hey, you don't change." I said, "Well, I don't want to. I don't know. I'm just lucky, I guess. I think I changed, but
yeah.
yeah. No, some guys change a lot. You know,
Oh man.
well, the gray hair and all of that. It changes a lot.
Right. 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 Yeah.
But when you're here, usually I recognize them, but when they start talking,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, this is why during those meet and greets they have the picture of the actual legend behind them. So that way, just in case they don't look
Yeah,
recognizable.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like when we sign autographs. They got pictures on the table. You got your
Right.
pictures all over the table, so that way they know it's you.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes that picture and you it's a little bit different.
I remember you was telling me a story. They'll look down at the picture and like,
Yep,
yeah. But hey,
it's a
it's
good time. I'm down here anyway. That's why I like to go. You know,
well.
so
How far is it from where you at right now that you
about a
have to
hundred miles. About a
100
hundred
miles?
miles.
Okay.
Yeah, almost 2 hour drive, but I'll just take my time and you know.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Hey, listen.
The guy that runs that, the guy, Brian Blair is the one in charge of it. You ever heard
Oh,
of Brian Blair?
yeah, from the Killer Bees. Yes, I remember. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He's the one that started that or runs it.
he's done a lot of things for independent wrestling, and as far as the legends, especially the legends, he's done a lot of things. He runs the cauliflower program.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been one time to the cauliflower, long, long time ago.
Listen, I have to say this before you go. This is my opinion. I know it's not yours, but this is my opinion. They're gonna put Triple H in there for the 100th time as far as being a Hall of Famer. I mean, honestly, you deserve it. You need to be in there. And I know that's not your goal or your vision and stuff. You it's like if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. You won't lose sleep over it. I get it. But as far as the wrestling fans, I've not just me, thousands and thousands of them has said that you need to be in the Hall of Fame. They the way they do things, it's I don't know. It's political. That's
Oh
just
yeah.
my
Well, there's politics and everything. You know.
yeah.
It'd be an honor. It's not something it's not something I lose sleep over.
I know.
You know. You know. I didn't really wrestle for the glory and all of this, accolades and trophies, and it was a business. In the old days, that was the mentality. I feed my family. I make money. You know, uh, I want to have a good retirement. I lived a good life, and to me, that's the best that I could do, and I'm happy.
Gotcha.
I have no regrets about anything. No regrets. You make mistakes, but who doesn't?
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
I didn't make bad mistakes, but because life is a learning experience,
Right.
and you get to meet a lot of good people. And I've always respected the fans, number one, because without the fans, I would have made a living. If you really think about it, all the money I made came from wrestling fans. Even
Right.
though I got paid by a company, promoters, where did they get the money? The revenues was from the fans. People
100%.
spend their hard-earned money to watch wrestling, to go to the matches, to leave their house, drive to the matches, take their kids, and enjoy. And I busted my ass to entertain them, and I don't regret that because that's what I wanted. Give them some good entertainment.
And you did. And you did.
Because if people go to a match and it's lousy, it, back then it didn't cost a whole lot, $3-4 for a seat ringside, or $5, and it got more expensive as time went. But still, they were spending their hard-earned money to come and be entertained. And if you go out in the ring and you're out of shape and you're boring and there's no excitement, I like people. I wasn't satisfied until they stood up out of their chair, and start screaming and hollering. You know,
I know. I know.
it's like a reward.
Yep.
It means it means you did it right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. So the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's decided by one individual, or two, or three, or four. I don't know. So what do they know?
Right. Right.
And maybe people like that don't understand what wrestling is.
Have you been in?
Because the entertainment has changed to me to something that's just it's not believable.
I know.
You know, wrestling is not real to start with, but they're doing things that's unbelievable. So,
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right.
I want to do things that I've always done things to the best of my ability to do something that was believable, made sense, common sense. A lot of times is gone. Especially in politics, common sense don't exist. It exists now because we're a new guy in charge.
Right. Oh wow.
Well,
Unbelievable.
it's okay. You know who you are. You know what you've done, and I'm happy with my. Like I say, wrestling fans, thank you all.
There you
I'm
go.
always, I never refuse sign autographs. So a lot of guys did. You know, I used to tell them, I said, how would you get paid without them? It's something to
100%.
think about. It's something to think about. How would you get paid?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, listen. Yeah. Again, you're about to reach. What is it? It's 9:48. I know you said you got to make moves at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't want you to
Very
rush.
good.
Um.
Uh,
So tomorrow, just in case, I don't know, we'll be live. We might not be live on TikTok because it kind of won't make sense. If you guys want me to be live on TikTok for this, then put a number 1 up in the comment section. But we're gonna have Rugged Ronnie Garvin. He's going to be not doing a seminar, but he's gonna be doing a webinar, and he's going to be doing this for the LLC. It's a school. It's a school as far as dealing with the NWA, and he's going to be checking out their students, and he's going to be judging as far as like what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, just giving them constructive criticism, if that's fair to say. Constructive criticism, I think everybody could always use that, especially if it's going to put them more in a better position than what they were. And yeah, he's going to be with us tomorrow. That's tomorrow in the evening, starting at 1 o'clock. That's when we're going to start doing that. And yeah, so I might go live on TikTok. Don't know yet. Don't know. Like I said, it won't make a difference because you guys won't be able to really see anything. You'll probably be able to hear his critique, but you won't be able to see like the matches that's going on and stuff. So later on, I might upload it as far as onto the YouTube channel, and then you guys will be able to see it from there. So that's pretty much it. And yeah, so Rod, thanks a million, man. I don't want to hold you up any further. Oh man. So Make sure you drive safely.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm never in a hurry. I just speed limit. I get there, and that way you're relaxing.
yep.
Racing raises your blood pressure.
Yep, 100%, 100%.
But
And hopefully tomorrow when we meet up again, you'll
yeah.
have some good stories with some of the guys that you met.
All right. Hopefully, I will.
Yeah, there you go.
Have a good
There-
one, my friend.
All right, take care.
You too. Take care. Bye bye.
All right, bye.